Hey, so today I'm going to be talking about how the COVID-19 pandemic affects my bookkeeping business and also bookkeepers in general. Hey, I'm Morgan from FinePoints.biz, and my goal is to help you guys get organized. Make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel. I've gotten a couple questions about COVID-19 and the pandemic and how sheltering at home affects my business. So I thought I'd just kind of do like a casual sit down video and let you guys know kind of my thoughts on the issue. And of course I have my tea because that's the sign of a casual sit down video. So I'm going to be talking about four main things. The first one is just kind of like an update on my life and my business. Secondly, I'll be talking about the good thing about bookkeeping in terms of when we have a crisis like this, why being a bookkeeper is actually really great. And then next I'll be talking about some opportunities, some special things you could be doing right now for clients. And then lastly, some negatives that might affect the bookkeeping industry. All right, so starting just out with me and my life. So I actually am feeling busier during this shelter at home time. The main reason is because I have the same amount of work that I need to get done, so which was about 10 hours of work a week. And then my kids are now home. So they don't go to preschool or elementary school. And then I'm also homeschooling them. So that adds, an extra few hours of stuff to my plate. Luckily, my daughter's in first grade, so she doesn't have too much to do and she's reasonably motivated to do it. The biggest problem is the preschooler comes and distracts her all the time. So that's kind of a challenge. And then I don't have childcare. So I used to have like about 4 hours a week of childcare, actually more than that. And so now that we're not seeing those babysitters anymore, I lost that as well. So I actually have added some things to my plate. So I'm not one of those people who's relaxing in the quarantine, with like being bored at home with nothing to do. So that's not really my situation. But all in all, I feel like we have pretty good spirits. My husband also owns a small business. So, that's a little bit nerve-wracking just that we both support our family with small businesses, mainly his is used to support us. But I feel like his business is doing okay. It's actually an essential business, and then he has most people working from home, and so he's here at home about half the time, and then he goes into the office about half the time. So it is kind of nice to be seeing him a little bit more. He can help out with the kids here and there if I need to film a video, if I need to do a client call or something. So we have been enjoying family time. We've been doing a lot of house projects and work in the garden and stuff like that, because here in Oregon we're starting to have some really nice weather. So overall, I feel like our spirits are fairly high in our household, and I know not everyone is experiencing that, but I am thankful that we are able to mostly maintain a pretty calm way of life. All right, so a couple of good things about being a bookkeeper in a harder economic time. First of all is job security, in terms of if you have multiple clients and one business fails, one client fires you, you still have other clients to fall back on. So it's not, I think I've said this in other videos, but it's not like, working for a big company where if you get laid off, then that's it. There's like multiple streams of income coming into your business. So far, all of my clients have been fine. No one is in financial hardship, and so they've continued to employ me just as normal. And that's another advantage of being a bookkeeper, is once you are filled to capacity with all the clients you want, then it's not like you're constantly having to go out and find new clients and do more marketing, but you can just, continue. It's not like if you were a wedding planner or something like that, you would have to always be finding new clients. But as a bookkeeper, you can work for the same client for years and years and years. Another advantage to my business model right now is that it's virtual. So of course now everyone's business is virtual, but I was already totally set up to work remotely for any client that I ever wanted. So I do feel like that's a huge advantage to bookkeepers, and it makes you really appealing to clients as well. I know I was joking with a friend because I used to think that in my videos I would recommend Zoom as a great resource for small business owners. It's a free video calling application, but now everyone knows about Zoom. So I feel like everyone is definitely utilizing all these tools that I and other virtual people have been using all along. And then another advantage of being a bookkeeper is with taxes. So I know they extended the deadlines for taxes to be submitted, but as a bookkeeper, I've said this again before, is that I already had all of my tax things finished into my clients' accountants by probably January for the most part. So that is kind of like a bigger push during the first of the year, but because of the timing of how this happened, the tax changes haven't affected me at all. And some ways that you can help out your clients right now, it's a really good time to take a good hard look at finances and kind of start to streamline some of those things, maybe things that you've been putting off or your client has been putting off for a while, but now that finances might be a little tighter, you as a bookkeeper become a really valuable resource. So you can look at how your client is spending their money, maybe give them some thoughts about, maybe they can save money in this area, or maybe they should be investing in this virtual part of their business. And clients might have a little bit more time on their hands if they're not spending time doing some of the tasks they used to do before the pandemic. I know that I have a to-do list of like 10 things that I've always wanted to do, or that, it's kind of important things, but they're not like really time sensitive. So maybe there's some of those things on your list for different clients. Like I know for one of our clients, they have multiple credit cards open and they just want to like streamline it down to one. Things like that, are kind of on their to-do list or on your to-do list. Now you might have time and resources to do them. As well as businesses maybe applying for certain loans, or I know I had a client apply for the Paycheck Protection Program that's being funded by the government. So for that, I needed to pull a couple reports, or they wondered how much they spent on this or that. So in that case, when finances are being scrutinized, you as a bookkeeper are going to become really important. You can also work on budgeting. Maybe there's some kind of crisis budget that one of your clients wants to put together, so with just the essentials of what's really important to their business. So that's an important task you could do, as well as collecting payments. So if you are in charge of invoicing, then this is a time that your client is going to want all the money that's owed to them in their business. So they're not going to want outstanding invoices just floating around. So it might be up to you to contact different of their clients and make sure that all the payments are coming into the business and being processed. And I mentioned this briefly, but as someone who is really comfortable working virtually, maybe you can take a look at one of your clients' business and help them fine-tune part of their business that will really boom during this pandemic. Obviously, there's certain businesses that are doing better, like grocery stores, Zoom, different video conferencing calls, or different apps. So if there's some way that your client can kind of capitalize on this time and, come up with a new creative, innovative strategy for their business and to make it work better, that is a great thing you can be helping with as well. It's a little bit outside the scope of bookkeeping, but just as a trusted advisor to your clients, that will be really helpful. And the other thing I thought about this, an advantage as a bookkeeper, is I'm not a full-time employee to my clients, so I'm not a huge expense to them really. If you look at my fees that probably usually are under like $500, and you compare that to an employee, you can see that a bookkeeper actually will be a lot more cost effective for them to hire or for them to keep on paying. So if you continue to set yourself up as an advisor, as someone essential to the running of their business, I think you're going to be just fine working for them as a bookkeeper. And some of the negatives that you might find in bookkeeping as the pandemic goes on are pretty typical things that you'll find generally in a not so good economy. As business owners start to be more worried, they probably aren't going to be hiring or looking to hire new people. So if you are just starting out, it might be hard to find your very first client or your very second client, because people might not be likely to want to spend extra money that they weren't already spending. So if they're already doing their own books, for example, they might not be like, oh, now's the time I want to outsource my bookkeeping. So that you might just have to wait out a little bit. And as times get tough, businesses may start to fail or go bankrupt. So if that is one of your clients, that might be an unfortunate consequence. In that way, bookkeepers are affected by the economy. It's not as clear a correlation as, for example, construction. Usually that's one of the first things to kind of go because people stop building anything new. Bookkeepers, it's more like a result of other businesses failing that you might feel the effects of that. And one other thing that I usually see an advantage, but now might be a disadvantage, is just that you're a contractor, so you're working alone and you just have less resources around you to rely on and to fall back on. So for example, I know the Paycheck Protection Program doesn't include contractors, it doesn't include 1099 employees. So if you have a client that, is really benefiting from that loan and they would have had to lay everyone off without it, then as a contractor, they might not be as motivated to keep you because we're not included in that loan. So just things like that as a contractor, and always as a small business owner yourself, you're gonna have to, be resilient and figure out things like that on your own. If there is a loan you can apply for, you're gonna need to research it yourself. You're not gonna have a staff of people doing it. But you knew that when you started your bookkeeping business. So I really hope you guys are doing well. Leave me a comment down below if you have any questions about the pandemic and how it relates to bookkeeping or anything else I can help with. I hope you guys are staying healthy and staying well, and hopefully not having too stressful of a time, but enjoying the time that you have at home. Thank you guys so much for watching and supporting my channel. Take care.